Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Friday night live stream for studentloanjustice.org. My name is Alan Collins. I'm going to try and keep it really short here tonight, folks. It's not particularly warm here in Wisconsin at the moment, and so I want to get closer to the heater. But there's a lot going on. The action item for today, and you can still do it, it doesn't matter what time it is, go to our Twitter and retweet our most recent 5 tweets. It will help a lot. Hey, and if you have any questions or comments, and if I can see them, if you're watching us on either Facebook or Twitter, I will happily and gladly respond to them. If you're watching us on YouTube or other channels, sorry about that. I only have so many eyeballs. I can only want to deal with so many windows at a time. So let's see here. So yeah, guys, a lot is going on. Some of the nonsense we see, GAO report recently reported on by CNBC claiming that half of all federal student loan borrowers are in danger of being delinquent if they turn the lending system back on. And that's a pretty good, I mean, it's supposed to be shocking, right? But that's nonsense. It's way more than 50%. Like even before the pandemic, 64.3% were not paying at all. And even if you take out the students who were in school or in grace, it's still 57%. So 57% of everyone was not paying at all. And that doesn't include college students. So those people were already delinquent, right? So yeah, no, the true number is not half. The true number is something like 75 or 80% likely will not resume paying their loans when and if they turn the lending system back on. So anyways, guys, if you've been watching this for any length of time, you'll know and hopefully understand that 90%, if not more, of the stuff we see in the media about student loans is crap. It is swamp media. It is propaganda. Like Forbes magazine is the most biased, ridiculously propagandistic swampy mag that you can imagine. And you know, they probably get just a ton of traffic. Like here's one example of how terrible Forbes is. Okay, for whatever reason, they really wanted Joe Biden to win that election. They did not want Trump. They wanted Biden. I don't know. I don't know why that is. So before the election, a Forbes headline screamed, Biden affirms, I will eliminate your student loan debt. And the sub headline, and I'm not saying that verbatim, and the sub headline was something like Biden reaffirms his pledge to broadly cancel student loans. So that was before the election, right? So then everybody voted for him and Biden barely won the election. And then very shortly, actually quite recently, after the election, we now see a Forbes headline saying, no, comma, Biden never said he would cancel student loans, or something like that. I'm not saying it verbatim, but so this is the kind of bullshit that's in the media zeitgeist, and is, make no mistake, guys, it's foisted against us, against the borrowers. The people in Washington, D.C. and Manhattan, everywhere else, they want nothing more than to keep this lending system going. They don't want they don't want actual loan cancellation, and they absolutely do not want bankruptcy rights returned to these loans. They don't want that. So we've been doing this for 17 years, ladies and gentlemen, and let me tell you, the truest thing I will say tonight is that the establishment would love to foist another fake loan cancellation gimmick on us. We've seen that movie before, going back to the 1990s. And here's what happens. Nobody gets the loan cancellation. Like almost nobody does. Of the millions of people who have tried for various income-driven repayment programs since the 90s, less than 1% have ever made it through. Everybody else wound up being disqualified out of the program and usually owing far, far more than when they started. So we cannot let ourselves be tricked again. ladies and gentlemen. And the way to avoid that is by getting the threat of bankruptcy back on our side. There are 40 million people who are underwater on their student loans, even before the pandemic. They were losing sleep. If and when we get the threat of bankruptcy returned, everything changes. Everything. Joe Biden, love him or hate him, he does not want to be the president who presides over 10, 15, 20 million people filing for bankruptcy during his presidency. That would be far, far, far more than even going back to the Great Depression. So as soon as we get the threat of bankruptcy returned, guys, then Biden will essentially he will have to broadly and meaningfully, maybe even totally cancel student loans. So there's a bill, S2598. We spend most of our energies pushing this bill. It's a good bill. It's a well-positioned bill. And the last time I talked to our contacts at the Senate, it was right on track. But, I was told, and this is common knowledge, a lot depends on how hard the people, us, me and you, push this bill. So you have no idea how important you are. I'm not kidding you one single bit, particularly if you have a Republican senator or two in your state. We've already got 2 Republican co-sponsors on this bill. We need more. And again, like I said, go to our Twitter feed and look at our most recent tweets, and you'll see how hard we are pushing Republican senators to co-sponsor this bill. It is just absolutely and astonishingly important that you help us with that. And I hope that you understand, very few people should ever even have to file for bankruptcy once we get the right returned. I know bankruptcy sucks. Believe me, I've been fighting for it for 17 years now. I know it sucks. It really sucks to fight for because nobody wants to, hey, give us our bankruptcy rights back. And it's not obvious to most people, to somebody who doesn't think about these sorts of things all the time like I do. It's certainly not obvious to most people why bankruptcy is so important. But ladies and gentlemen, I'm telling you, it's so important. We have seen our opposition pull out all the stops, use every trick in the book, year in, year out, to keep bankruptcy gone from student loans. The founding fathers called for uniform bankruptcy laws in the Constitution. And there was a very good reason for that. And this very unique violation of their wisdom proves their wisdom in spades. So, please just take my word for it. If you don't want to take my word for it, read this article. Okay, I wrote the article, but still, read. Go to our. Oh, I don't have them. Go to studentloanjustice.medium.com, and you can see all of the articles that we've written. A lot of that is unreported stuff, by the way, I should say. So if you're a reporter, particularly go there. There's like a number of things that have not been reported. But go there and look for the article that says something to the effect that student loans will not be canceled unless and until bankruptcy protections are returned. It's not exactly that, but it sounds like that. Read that article, and you can read it carefully and slowly, and you will see, hopefully, why what I said is true. We are not going to see meaningful student loan cancellation unless and until we get the threat of bankruptcy returned. Whether you would ever or never file is not important. We've got to have the threat returned. And think about it this way, guys. Forget about everything I just said. Don't, but for the sake of argument, think about your own situation. On May 1st, they're probably going to turn this lending system back on. Now, do you want to, you are statistically, you are almost certainly not going to begin resume repaying on your loans when May 1st happens. Now, do you want to be caught with your pants down on May 1st? In other words, do you want to be naked and vulnerable and not have at least the threat of bankruptcy in your back pocket when May 1st comes? Do you want to face May 1st like we are now, completely exposed, with no legal recourse under the law, no equal protection under the law either, I might add? But do you want to face May 1st in that state, or would you rather face May 1st at a minimum with the threat, at least, of bankruptcy protections back on your side? So it's just so important. And I may or may not be able to answer your questions here, guys. But right now is the critical time, and I just can't say. Oh, we do have a question here from Leslie Fifton. Did Warren flounder today on SL in some way? Thought it was trending for a bit. I'm not sure what happened today. I did not see anything, but what I can tell you is that last week, Boston Globe reporter asked Elizabeth Warren about our bill, S2598, and she wouldn't comment on whether she supported the bill or not. And this is really interesting, considering that Elizabeth Warren, as a Harvard professor for many years, taught bankruptcy. As a matter of fact, our very first foray on the national stage was also Elizabeth Warren's very first foray on the national stage on a 60 Minutes interview in May 2006. And she nailed it then. Now, she seems to be promoting this up to $50,000 loan gimmick. And it's a gimmick, guys. Don't believe it. Don't believe it for a minute. It's weasel worded. Up to can mean anything. And if Elizabeth Warren has her way, or sorry, Elizabeth Warren I'm sure is a good person. But if the Department of Education had its way, that up to $50,000 will be bureaucratized to mean almost nothing for almost everyone. We've got to get bankruptcy rights back unless before, and will not see anything good until we get the threat of bankruptcy back. That was a really poorly constructed sentence, and I apologize, but I hope you understand what I'm saying. Bankruptcy is very important. It's very concerning to see people like Elizabeth Warren being non-committal. You know, her quote was, I don't want to negotiate against myself. And that is the most wrong-headed thing I've ever heard her say. She knows that bankruptcy and loan cancellation are not opposing concepts. In fact, they are simpatico. Well, they are simpatico. And in fact, the one depends upon the other. Loan cancellation depends upon getting the threat of bankruptcy back. So please just think about it. Read that article I said. And I can only hope that you'll come around. Most important thing, though, guys, is what I said a few minutes ago. We are the only group of significant size fighting for this bankruptcy bill. Everything depends on it, guys. Everything. So you have no idea how important you are. And, you know, I'm not going to belabor the point. Just come on, dudes. Nothing's going to happen until and unless you own this problem and you help us. So important. So we're expecting a very nice article, hopefully, to come out in a national newspaper next week, maybe even this weekend, but I'm guessing Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. So we're looking forward to that. Maybe the last action item I have for you, and this has been on my mind. We need to generate more local media. We need to get local news stations to report on this problem. So if you go to our change.org/cancel student loans petition, change.org/cancel student loans, and you read the most recent update that we did today, we have an email list for a ton of local news companies, newspapers, radio stations, television, etc. Contact your local news media this weekend, today, tonight. Send them an email. Ask them to report on our petition. Tell them we've got over 1 million signatures. Most importantly, tell them that we have hundreds of people in your local area who are willing to be interviewed to put a human face to this nationally threatening problem, something like that. It will help. You know, I can ask local news stations, wherever they may be, all day long to report, and they're like, who is this guy? But if you, who actually lives there, tells them to, it's way stronger, just way stronger. In fact, it's probably not going to happen unless and until you make it happen. So, again, you guys have no idea how important you are. And I don't know what else to say, guys. I really don't. But I want these loans gone. I don't want pretend gone. I don't want some Band-Aid. I don't want another trick. Cancellation foisted on us. I want these loans gone. And if you do too, I don't expect people to work as hard as I do, but you got to put some time into this. You've got to. And if you don't, then you're a dick. So, anyhow, guys, I'm going to wrap it up. It's Friday night. I am freaking freezing in here. Yeah, Leslie, you're right. Up to $50,000 means nothing. You know, every lawyer knows that between those two words, up and to, there is a world of hurt. And that is where the fix is in. Quite frankly, Elizabeth Warren should know this. And I'm not going to talk bad about her, but anyways, we're a very nonpartisan group, by the way. We're not conservative. We're not liberal. We are only about solving this problem. And that means two things: getting bankruptcy rights back and getting the loans canceled. And the latter depends upon the former. So, all right, guys, as I said, it's freezing. Last thing, very last thing I'll say is if you can donate, please do it. studentloanjustice.org/donate. And we need to raise like, I think $300 or something by the end of the weekend. And that's going to be really difficult for us. We're the oldest and the largest group in the country, grassroots group fighting for only and absolutely for student loan justice. But guys, I'm telling you, we don't have a marketing department. We don't have any of that stuff. If we were a band, we'd be the Grateful Dead. If we were a gathering, we'd be a potluck. You got to bring your own stuff into this game, and nothing will happen unless and until you do. So, all right, guys, I'll be back on Sunday, and you can do this over the weekend. There's no reason you can't. I do it 24. I feel like I do it 24/7. I do it 7 days a week. Absolutely. And, I can only hope that other people will make not the same commitment, but at least, couple hours a week. I mean, how hard is that? So hang in there. We're on track. I've never been more positive, optimistic than I am here right now as I'm speaking to you. So keep the faith, get it done. Don't be lazy. Own this problem. And let's win it together. Good luck. Godspeed. God bless everybody. Get me out of here. Okay. See ya.